This session of Python programming basics, we'll be doing an introduction to Python. So we'll start off this session by answering a question like why should you learn Python? After that, we'll do an environment setup for the Python, and then we'll take a look at the shell of Python, which allows you to run Python code. And then we'll take a look at the Pycharm, which is the open source integrated development environment for Python. This you will be using this tool for any Python development going forward. And then at last we'll take a look at a basic Python code which will introduce few of the constructs of Python for you. All right, so we'll start off the session now. So first thing first, like why should you learn Python? Basically, Python supports both object-oriented and structured programming construct. So let's try to dig a little bit deeper into this particular statement. So by taking few example, let's say like if you want to develop a web development project, maybe an e-commerce website, right? So and you select Python for that. So since you are actually developing a web project, so you might be creating a lot many classes, and then you will have a lot many methods which may whose behavior may change as your objects differ, right? So obviously you will be using a lot many object oriented concepts like polymorphism, abstraction, etc., right? So hence Python allows you to make use of object-oriented programming while writing your code. But let's say like if you are actually writing a code to scrap few of the website which are available with you, so in those kind of in those kind of projects, you will be writing code more of like a commands, like okay, scrap this section of the HTML, or navigate to this particular page, right? So these kind of programming constructs come under the structured programming, and Python has been used widely for doing such work. All right, so and the next reason to actually learn Python is that the Python code is very condensed. I would say it's a lot more readable and maintainable. Why? Because Python doesn't enforces a lot many construct to you for actually while actually writing a code. So with that effect, it becomes very easier for the beginner to actually not to actually focus on the actual problem that they are trying to solve with the code, rather than wasting time in learning the learning the programming syntaxes like in Java or in C++, right? So there are a lot many features of Python which actually enables you to write a very readable and maintainable code. For example, the dynamic type inferences. This is one of the biggest feature of Python, and it's being used and it's being adapted by a lot many languages now as well. For example, Java, after I think Java 9, they've introduced a keyword like var, which does the compile time inference of the code, right? So along with that Python has automatic memory management, so you don't have to like write code to actually create point, like to allocate or deallocate memory, which we used to do when we used to write like C++ code, right? So so with the result, the code is like you will be focused a lot more writing the code which actually solves the business problem, and Python will work behind the scene to make that code to run that code in a very proper way, so that like it doesn't breaks. All right, so third point is like the Python code that you write will be shipped as is, and it will be run so since it will be run by the interpreter. So what happens is that like for example, like in Java and C, for us to run that code, we actually convert that code into an assembly code, and then actually it gets executed on the server. But for Python, it's not like this. The Python interpreter will actually, the Python environment will actually, virtual environment will actually interpret that code into the assembly language and then run it. So the benefit is that, like, as long as you have the same version of Python running on both the machines, the Python code will run perfectly fine. Along with that, like, Python provides a plethora of frameworks and library to actually solve your business problem. For example, let's say you want to write a code for a web application. So you have like Django and Flask. These are the standard frameworks which are available for any web development in Python. On the other hand, if you have to write a code for the machine language, so in that case, Python has frameworks like NumPy available, which has been used widely for any machine language code. I think the next point, which is the fifth one, is more suitable for the organizations, which is why Python has been used by preferred by a lot many companies these days, because Python is like free and open source. Even the Java, it has become like a closed source language, but then like they do have a open JDK available. But the problem with that, like, the fixes are not readily available in that. Unlike Python is like free and open source. Like, it has a very big community of developers who are actually working on and fixing the issues and upgrading Python to the next version, right? And there are no plans to actually make it like a closed source language. Because of all of these reasons, a lot many companies, major tech companies have actually accepted Python for the major development projects. Companies like Google, Amazon, Paytm, Flipkart, Make My Trip have been using Python heavily in their projects. And since Python code is like you can run you can make changes to the Python code very fast and develop the code very fast. Because of that, Python has been used by a lot many startups, because it allows you to create the prototypes very fast and ship the code very fast to the production environment and see your results. So for example, like the Paytm initial code of wallet and recharges was initially on Python, totally on Python. All right, so I hope I've managed to answer your question that why should you be learning Python. So moving ahead, we'll take a look at like how you can actually set up the Python environment. For Linux and Mac operating systems, the Python comes installed by default, but for Windows you need to install Python, and you can get the latest version of the Python by going through this particular link, www.python.org/downloads. So once you go to that particular link, you get an option to download the Python version, the latest version. I would suggest to download the Python 3 plus latest version. Once you download that, it will be an exe. You just install that exe. Once you install the exe, you just go to the startup menu, and you'll notice an option of Python, like an option named like Python 3 plus, something like that. And then you go inside it, you will get a Python command line option available there. So on clicking that, you will be able to open the Python interpreter. So in order to make things more convenient to you, I would suggest to set the environment variable of Python environment variable, which is your path, to the absolute folder location of your Python, right? So it's quite easy in Windows. You can just do that by the click of few buttons, right? So for those of you like who have like Python pre-installed in your computer, I would suggest that you that you just check and confirm the Python version, that you should have Python 3 plus available with you, because we'll be doing a lot many coding sessions in the further classes. So I would suggest just to check your Python version, because we'll be using Python 3 plus. Python 2 version 2.7 and further, like 2 version is our end of life, and now Python 3 plus is the preferred version for should be the preferred version for any sort of Python development. So you can check the version of your Python by typing this Python space hyphen version command in your command line. So you should get a Python version named like 3 plus, something like 3.xxx version, right? So if for Linux and Mac user, if you notice that your Python version is not 3 plus version, I would suggest you go to the same link, which is like python.org/downloads, and get the latest version. I can so if you don't want to do the installation by going through this particular link, I think in Linux you do have like a package manager available. So you can use the package manager of yours, like apt for Ubuntu and yum for Red Hat, to actually get the latest version of Python. I guess for Python 3, in most of the package managers, they do have a package named Python 3 available. So if you just for, let's say for example, if you go to Ubuntu, if you're using Ubuntu and you go to your terminal and you type sudo space apt-get install Python 3, it should be able to install you the latest version of Python on your machine, the latest version of Python 3. Okay, but then, like, if you download the latest version of Python from this particular URL, you just download it. You just extract the downloaded archive on the folder of your choice, and then change the profile file, wherein you can set the path of the Python like this. You just update the path of the Python like this, and then, like, if once you open a new terminal and check with like Python hyphen version, then it should show the recent version of the Python. So guys, like, you can just try for installing the latest environment in your of Python in your machines. If you are not able to install that, just feel free to shoot me an email or message me. I'll be definitely able to help you out in that. So with that expectation that you are able to install the latest version of Python in your machine, I would like to move ahead with the session. So the next thing we'll like to discuss is the shell of Python. So the shell of the Python is basically, it's one of the interactive mode of the Python, which allows you to actually run the commands of Python, and you can see the result then and there itself, right? So let's say, like, if you just type like print hello world, so this will actually print this particular string on the screen for you. So you will be able to see the result right below it. So you can just you can run the interactive mode by typing command Python on your command prompt. For the guys like who are using Windows, so you can just go to the startup menu, and in that you will have a Python 3 option available. Just click that, and then under that you will find Python command line, an option displayed there. When you just click that, it'll open a command prompt for you, which will have the Python shell running for you, right? And then you can just start writing the command and see the results yourself. All right, so Python shell is like it's only for like running like a short commands for your understanding and maybe for your learning, right? But then, like, if you have to write bigger codes like algorithms, or make use of some data structures or anything like such, you will be using the IDE of Python. So there are many more IDEs available, but then, like, Pycharm is one of the widely used open source IDE for Python. By the way, by IDE I meant integrated development environment. So it's basically a software which allow you to write Python code, run and debug that code as well, right? So you can download the latest version of Pycharm using this particular URL, which is like www.jetbrains.com/pycharm/download. So this will make you the latest version of Pycharm as per your operating system available to you. So you can just download it and run it on your machine. Just let me know like if you face any issues while installing this particular software on your machine, and I should be able to help you out in any such issues. So but then I would not like to enforce Pycharm onto you, but then like I would still like you to suggest that maybe answering few of the few by maybe suggest like answering few of the features of the Pycharm available, which is why that you should use Pycharm. So let's say like if you are writing any code, so Pycharm very intelligently will allow you to do the code completions automatically. It will give you the suggestions of the method that you should be using. Plus it provides a debugger as well, which you can actually use to locate your errors, and you can inspect your code as well. Plus, if you are actually doing any sort of like web development work, like let's say like you are developing an e-commerce application or any other web application, so you will be using Django and Flask quite a lot. So which is why the Pycharm integrates with Django and Flask very well, and it allows you to create controllers, it allows you to create entities, and also integrates with the database as well. So that's the reason why Pycharm is used a lot in web development projects. Along with that, like Pycharm also provides supports to the scientific libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib. So it has been used by a lot of scientific community as well to actually write any sort of Python code that they are doing for their projects. Plus, while doing any sort of like web development, you will be doing a cross technology development a lot. Like you'll be writing a lot of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So Pycharm allows you to write the HTML, CSS, JavaScript code as well, and also it actually understands that code as well and provides and helps you with the code completion and the code inspection and debugging for your JavaScript code. So that's the reason why I would also suggest you to actually make use of Pycharm. Lastly, I think it integrates very well with the code repositories like Git. So with the few clicks you can actually find out okay what actually changed in your Git repository. You can make a Git commit, you can push to the Git repository, you can even pull your code from the Git or rebase your code from the Git repositories. By the way, for those of you who don't understand like what exactly is Git, so guys, when you will be doing a lot of coding in your future organizations or in your current organization, you must be using a code repository where the entire organization code sits, and everyone has to push their code or submit that code into that particular repository so that like it goes to the actual servers or the production servers for the deployments. So that's what Git is, or any sort of Git repository. So Pycharm integrates with it, provides supports for most of the for most of the code repositories, but Git is like something which is being used quite a lot widely. So that's the reason why I've given a specific example of that. All right, so I hope like you are pretty much satisfied with my suggestions, like why you should be using Pycharm. But then like if you still feel like that you are more comfortable with any other IDEs like Eclipse or VM or Vim or Idle, you are feel free to use that. But then like in most of my sessions, I'll be using Pycharm for displaying or showcasing my code. All right. Lastly, I would like to just introduce you a basic code of Python and introduce you with few of the construct of the Python. Um, so you must be able to see a like on the current slide on the right side of the screen. There's a code which is being displayed. So this particular code is a very basic code, and I've tried to explain few of the construct of the Python. So basically we'll start with the line one. So line one is that like how you can actually put down the single line comment in your Python. You make use of a hash. So you just write hash and then this is a single line comment. So this is so these kind of comments we actually use to describe any line of code, any specific line of code. But then like if you are writing down a documentation of a method or a class, you probably will be making use of the multi-line comments. So we write the multi-line comments using triple quotes. So anything in between these couple of these triple quotes will be considered as in the comments. So these are like the multi-line comments. Okay, so now at line number 8, I've tried to display the one of the feature of the Python, which is the automatic type inference. So if you just see, like I've given like x equals to 0. So here what will happen is that a lot like I would suggest like multiple things are happening there. One thing is that there's an assignment and there's a declaration and assignment of the variable happening at this particular line. Also, Python automatically understand that on the right side of the assignment is an integer. So obviously this particular object should be an integer. So this is known as the automatic type inference. So Python will automatically declare or create an instance of integer in its memory and assign it to x. So then if you just see at line number 10, what we are doing an extra like a subtraction of two integers, right? 10 minus 9, right? So here as well, Python knows that the subtraction will actually the result of this subtraction will be an integer. So automatically it'll just create it'll just create an integer memory location, integer memory in its, it'll just allocate an integer memory in itself and then assign it to x. So if I run this particular command on line number 11, which is like print type x underscore underscore name, so this command will actually, this is a print function of Python, which in that what I'm saying is that print the type of x, and then I'm specifically asking that to print the particular name of that particular class. So that class is integer. So I'm just stopping up for a few seconds just so that like you absorb like these things that I've just said. And I'm hoping like if you have any queries until now, just raise your hands. I'll be able to answer that questions. Okay, so now moving ahead at line number 13, again automatic type inference is happening. I've created a variable named y and assigned it to a string named hello, right? So automatically Python will understand that y is a variable of string type, and it'll declare and assign the value accordingly to it. So if I just again run this particular command, it will give me the value as string. Similarly at line number 16, I'm able to create a float variable, right? All right, so next thing is that I'll try to explain an object oriented concept over here, which is the polymorphism. If you see that at line number 19 and at line number 22, I have created, I am making use of two operations, like one operation which is a plus, right? So then, but Python behaves differently for the different type of variables. So let's say like this is an integer, right? So Python knows this, like on the right and left of this particular integer, right? On the left and right of this operand, both the variables are integers, so it knows that like it needs to do an addition over here. So what will happen is that the original value of x was like 10 minus 1 9, so 10 minus 9 was 1, so it will do an addition of 2 to 1. So if I just print that, if I try to print that value, it will print the value as 3. But if you just notice that at line number 22 I have a string name as like world on the right of the operand, but on the left of it I've had another string variable, right? So which is hello. So now if I just apply a plus operand on that, it will do a concatenation of these two strings. So if you just see, the operand is same, but based on the type of variables which are around that particular operand, the behavior of plus will change. So this is known as the polymorphism, and this is one of the object-oriented concept which Python is exhibiting in these lines of code. Okay. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Anything? Okay, so I hope that like you've understood this thing. But then like in the further sessions, we'll be going through each and every concepts, like object oriented concepts, like polymorphism, abstractions, everything in the next sessions, right? And then we'll also take a look at the automatic type inference in the future sessions. All right, so this is so probably one of the last thing that I would like few of the last things that I would like to introduce before I just end up this particular session is to showcase like how easy and readable the Python code is. If you just see, Python make use of the words for the logical operands. Like for and, you can just write down an and. For or, you can just write down or. For not, you can just write down not. Unlike in like any other programming languages like Java, you might be using an operand like ampersand, double time ampersand, right? So, and then like if you just see, I don't have to write like x is not equals to 0 and y is not empty. Python automatically, implicitly will check for the non-zero of x and non-emptiness of y to compute the condition x and y. So this condition says that if x is not equals to 0 and y is not empty, then just print this particular statement. Another thing which I would like to say is that over here is that there are no such brackets over here, and Python make use of the tabs, right, to actually like the indentation to actually implement the block structure. So if you just see, this code is like very easy to read. It's like a plain English. If x and y, then print x is non-zero and y is not empty. So this code is like, if you have a code something like that in your files, it becomes very easy for any person to read and understand that particular code. Even a layman person can understand that particular code. So these are few these are few lines of the code that I would that I've just showcased for the Python. And this code and this PPT will be available to you on the web link after this particular session. And feel free to send me an email or any messages, anything like such, with regards to any issues that you face for the things that we have covered in this particular session. All right, thank you guys, have a good